The Bride of the Cursed Lake. Chapter 10. The Black Swan Rises. Part 3. I rose from the shivering husk that was James, from the place where his flesh dissolved, a hollow shape of all he'd clung to. As the darkness consumed the last traces of him, the new form settled into its terrible grace. I stood on limbs no longer my own, and I heard the water go still. I heard the silence I had become. Black wings unfurled into the night, casting long, broken shadows across the water. They stretched wide, too wide, unfamiliar and heavy. My eyes glowed faintly in the dark, red and restless, catching the shimmer of the fog. Each motion was jarring and incomplete, the clumsy struggle of a shape learning how to exist. I took the first steps on unfamiliar ground, felt the thud of a heart not mine. Feathers like obsidian knives edged the air. My shadow tore across the lake, a map of grief with no compass to guide it. A memory began to surface, or was it only the water? A man stood in the shallows, or was he only the ghost of a man? My thoughts could no longer settle, and still I searched for Anna among them. I searched, and I could not find her. I became the watcher. I edged closer to the lake, the weight of my body growing harder to carry, each breath a struggle against the shape I had become. The truth rose to meet me. I stared down, transfixed, the crimson glow of my eyes bathing the scene. The water was perfect glass, a faultless reflection. I saw myself in awful detail, sharp, unnatural, undeniable. Black Swan, watcher. I understood, and the understanding broke me. There was a tremor at the surface, a brief flicker in the water. In the reflection, the face I once knew, my own. It twisted, contorted with anguish, then blurred into nothing. The illusion vanished, replaced by a new and horrific certainty. Anna, I tried to say. The word, the name, was nothing but a thought without voice. I looked up, dazed and disoriented. The night wrapped around me, and everything seemed to move in slow, relentless rhythm. The world was too bright and too dim. It was all things at once and nothing. The lake and the sky were mirrors. The forest and the hills were mirrors. They reflected the new shape, the new silence. My body was grotesque, the scale of it beyond comprehension. A single movement, some desperate hope, some forlorn search, pulled my eyes toward the water. There, in the distance, they glided. Anna and the others, white shapes like lilies, like stars, and all of them too far to reach. I saw their eyes, knowing, heavy with sorrow. They met my gaze, and there was no anger in them. only the weight of what could not be undone. The names and the shapes and the cycles, all of them too familiar, all of them too endless. The Watcher, the Guardian, the James, at the front of the flock leading the silent drift across the water. Anna, no need to call her name. She had always known I was watching. The air grew heavier with each breath, and my shape felt too strange, too wrong, to hold the weight of what remained of me. But then I moved. I cast myself into the lake, the water boiling beneath me as if the lake itself resisted my crossing. The surface hissed and seethed, steam rising where my body touched it. The curse fighting back, unwilling to let me near. Still, I did not stop. I beat my wings against the choking mist, forcing myself closer, inch by inch, through the searing burn of the water. And then, at last, she turned to meet me, gliding across the lake, her eyes unflinching, soft with the sadness that had always been ours. I swam toward her, and she toward me. The lake's rage could not keep us apart. When we met, we leaned our heads together, our necks arching into that perfect, impossible shape. The curve of two halves forming one heart. I felt the weight of my old life slip away, and in its place, the quiet gravity of what could not be undone. I had lost myself. I had lost my name, but I had found her, and she had never been lost. Not to me. We were together, bound not by flesh, but by what had always been stronger, by the promise, by the curse, by love.